There. A television comedian with no previous political experience has been elected president of Ukraine. Volodymyr Zelensky beat the incumbent President Petro Poroshenko in a landslide. He promised to tackle corruption and end the war in eastern Ukraine. Well, joining me now is Ukraine's ambassador to the United Kingdom, N.Galibarenko. Welcome to you indeed. Are you in shock?
No, I mean, it was anticipated. I mean, the victory of Mr. Volodymyr Zelensky, according to the polls, to the latest polls. So anyway, we are now on a new page in the country history, and everybody is, of course, expecting that the new president will outline his program. And meanwhile, of course, we are all grateful to what the President Poroshenko did during all these years, because he launched important reforms in Ukraine, even despite the Russian aggression. What
went wrong? Because, as you say, he was quite well regarded internationally and at home, yet 70% of people seem to have voted for another candidate. What went wrong?
You know, I think that the major reason among the people to support Volodymyr Zelensky was, like a search for new faces. So people, they were in certain way tired of traditional politicians and traditional politics, and maybe that was the reason behind the choice for unexperienced, but then very well known showman, Mr. Zelensky.
Problem perhaps that corruption or oligarchs continue to be pretty influential in Ukraine.
It's still a problem. I will not conceal it, and it's still to be tackled. Again, President Poroshenko did a very good job in decreasing their influence on Ukraine's economy. But for the new president, it would be also a challenge.
What happens to you? I mean, obviously you were loyal to the previous president, got a new president now. Will we expect all change in the diplomatic service?
I don't know. It's up, of course, to the president and especially to the new Minister of Foreign Affairs. So Mr. Zelensky promised that he will submit his candidacies for the post of Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Defense, and General Prosecutor, and the head of the Secret Service. So this is the quota of the president appointees. So we will be expecting maybe some new faces again. But what he already also made clear, that the main foreign policy of Ukraine will stay as it is. And this is about European integration and integration with NATO.
Have you ever met him, Zelensky? Have you ever met him?
Yeah, I was at his concert several times in the past.
So you're a bit of a fan?
You know, he was quite famous in joking about the politics in Ukraine. That was something different and exceptional. You know, Ukraine is an interesting state because we are, I think, the only one, maybe also with Moldova and Georgia, from the past Soviet Union, where people can joke about politicians and they will not be punished for that. And I think this is also the demonstration of democracy in Ukraine.
Do you think, I mean, he's a much younger man, obviously. Do you think this is partly a generational shift?
I think this is partly also the generational shift. So, new faces, also this means, there would be maybe younger generation. And his electoral campaign was different from the traditional one. So he was not using TV show, he was not gathering people on a massive demonstration, something like that. He was addressing people via Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel, and that turned out to be very effective.
You think he'll be visiting the UK soon?
I hope so. I hope so, and that was very delightful. Then yesterday, Prime Minister Theresa May, she congratulated him on her Twitter. So, of course, I will be looking for some maybe personal contacts in the future.
What about the very serious issue of relationship with Russia and, of course, the questions of Crimea and eastern Ukraine? Mr. Poroshenko wasn't able to resolve those questions. Would you expect a more belligerent or a more conciliatory attitude towards Moscow?
I wish, Adam, of course, but the truth is that we are not the only one who can decide the future of the conflict with Russia. So the key to the resolution of the conflict and the situation with Crimea and in Donbass is in Moscow. And since I don't see any changing in that in the capital and in the hands of Putin. So I cannot, promise you that there would be something like substantial progress in resolving the conflict, unfortunately.
But there are also going to be parliamentary elections in Ukraine. Are you worried about the instability those could bring, or do you think this is going to be a one-off about one man?
No, I think that the parliamentary elections would be also maybe even more competitive than a presidential one, so we will see. But there would be many political parties. I think also that the President Poroshenko will herd his party to the next parliament. He already made it clear. Maybe there would be new political forces like the party of the newly elected President Zelensky. And, the struggle would be enormous.
And just finally, what do you think is the #1 task for the new president now?
I think it's like, to understand that he has not a lot of time. So challenges are so pressing in Ukraine, and especially that we have Russia. So he should need to take some actions very quickly and to respond to what people are expecting from him.
Ambassador N.Galibarenko, thank you very much indeed for your time. Well, those climate change protesters